Hello, fellow preppers. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Monday, August 13, 2012. Here at the ranch in the rural location, which is home now, the only location. The Old Farmers Almanac. I don't know if people still read that as much as they used to. Anybody? I'd like to know if you guys read it or not. But coming back out here, moving back to the rural location full time, have to ease into it. You try and do everything at once, it just doesn't work. You just go crazy. You get overwhelmed. So I don't like to really say baby steps, but just daily progress. That's something you want to strive for. So the Old Farmers Almanac, that just sometimes gives a good overview, and maybe some things I forgot, maybe some things I might learn new. But if you haven't picked one up, you might want to get the 2013. I believe it comes out next month, September. But so I got this. I borrowed this from the library. It was like, well, since the new one's coming out next month, no reason for me to spend $7 on something that's going to be outdated so quick. But I was looking through here, and it's pretty thick now. It's 288 pages to the end. But it seems like almost in some sections every other page is ad. I don't know if Robert Thomas, that's the guy that started this way back in the 1800s, I believe, if that's the idea he had for this. But what's kind of interesting, well, let's see. No, he actually started this in 1792. But one thing I wanted to tell you was, according to this, I'm in style. Here on page 20 it says, they're talking about the fashion forecast. On men we'll see rumpled looking casual wear. So the rumpled one's in style. There you go. But see, part of the idea that Robert Thomas had was to give good information and also give people a chuckle. Don't take it all that serious, but convey information, maybe be a little entertaining, a little amusing, but get that information out there. And this has sections on gardening and the calendar, the astrology, the astronomy. It has sections on the weather, health and home. A lot of good info. But there was something else in here that I wanted to tell you guys. They were talking about, almost, it sounds like preppers. Here again in the fashion forecast, it said double duty duds. Consumers seek more bang for their buck in a fashion that can do several things. Sounds like, preppers. Now let's see, what else do we have? They said our changing culture. That people are talking about technology cleanses, unplugging for a short time. I guess getting back to old school. Handwriting, it's better for the mind than typing. Sharing or renting furniture, clothing, cars. Very interesting. See, there was something else they were talking about here. Looks like I missed it. Okay, no, they said around the house, they said DIY, then SIY. We're making and selling canned goods, clothing, and even music. Folks are grabbing onto the idea that a household doesn't have to be a unit of consumption. It can be a unit of production. So do it yourself, sell it yourself. It said old is new. People are relearning skills that used to be stressed in home economics classes. And it says we're back to the basics. Cooking soups and stews using cheaper cuts of meat. Giving kids more chores to do. Using a broom correctly, short strokes. Making candy. So it sounds like, you know, they're talking about prepping. We'll see. Furniture made from reclaimed wood. I mean, once again, that's just kind of prepping, you know, using what you have. It's a practical pursuit. It's no longer about having to keep, okay, it's no longer about having the perfect house and keeping up with the neighbors. Everything we do is so high-tech and refined. People want to have something that unabashedly comes from nature. I don't know, maybe it's like this old hillbilly table I built out of some, you know, board that a guy was basically throwing away. Ideas that make sense. Cooking meats in the fireplace. Just, there's some good common sense stuff in the Farmer's Almanac. And if you haven't done a garden, they, you know, they give you the basics. And if you have done a garden, you still might learn a trick or two that you haven't thought of. Or it's a good refresher. You know, when to plant, where to plant, what to plant, how to plant, that kind of stuff. They also had an article in here about the patron saint of peppers, Wilbur Scoville. He has the Scoville chili heat chart. See, now some of us think certain things are hot, but the capsaicin, that's what makes things hot. And if you have the pure stuff, you can't handle it. It's 15 million heat units. It said pepper sprays between 2 and 5.3 million heat units. Yeah, habanero pepper, that's up to 200,000 to 350,000 units. Now we, people in the Southwest, Arizona, New Mexico, or down in Mexico, you have those jalapenos. They're only 3,500 to 8,000 heat units. So that's a lot less heat there. And, you know, just plain old red chili, that's only 500 to 750 heat units. So like I said, the Farmer's Almanac. Pick up the current edition, the 2012, at your library if they have it. You might not be able to check it out. They might have it in reference. I was lucky. One of the libraries here has a traveling copy. If not, maybe you can find an old copy at the thrift store. Or, like what I'm going to do, I'm just going to wait till next month and I'm going to order me the 2013 copy. Something you could, you know, read a little bit every day or every week, and it'll bring you up to speed. Because if you fail to prepare today, you're preparing to fail tomorrow.